Hello everyone, welcome to the February 27th League of Legends DFS slate. Again, I'm so sorry for getting this video out only probably by the time you guys see this, probably about 3 hours before lock. So because this video is so late, I'm going to try to speedrun things a little bit. Again, I apologize. I'm sure you guys understand life is just super busy, and obviously this is just like a side hobby that I have. Obviously I don't get paid to do this at all or anything. This is just something I like to do. So unfortunately, I'm sure you guys understand when life gets a little busy, this is kind of the first thing that gets cut out. So unfortunately, I have to push these things back. So again, quickly apologize for that stuff. We can get started quickly. So I wanted to do one thing here while I began talking about some catching up on yesterday. Sorry, little scatterbrained here to get started. I forgot to bring up the lineups again. I don't know why I continuously do that. All right, here we go. So sorry about that. Normally I would just like delete this part or delete this and just kind of restart and re-record again. But again, on a time crunch, so we're just going to quickly get through this. Recapping yesterday, WE Ultra Prime. Yesterday was super weird, so I kind of wish I had more time to talk about it. We had all three of these went to 3 games. Whoops, it's annoying. All 3 of these games went 3, and we had one of those odd situations where Team WE actually scored so well in their single map win. They had like completely breaking the slate, like a just a crazy shattering score. So I don't know where we are at the moment in the league. This is recent, so there we go. So as you guys could see, Team WE had 31 kills in a 27-minute win. Super huge scores for them. So like this was like borderline enough to get there as a whole, and it pretty much did. Like 11 kills, that's 33 plus 8 plus 14 assists, that's 28. So what is that already at, like 60 something? 1 death, and then like 4 points worth of CS. So I don't know, that's like 65 or something points. I don't know, like just a crazy amount. Stay, like everyone pretty much got there. So yeah, Team WE just had like unearthly scores in game 1. Unfortunately, they did get reverse swept and lose the series. This one, I don't know. I have kind of like a few thoughts on this one, but I'll kind of just summarize it. I thought Beishong played super, super poorly. I was super impressed with Jie's return. He actually looked like he hadn't like taken a step back at all. He was he's like one of the old guard mid laners of the league. It sounds maybe a little asinine, but he kind of is comparable to somebody like Rookie, Knight, Doinby, Icon. Just those people. I guess Icon's not playing now. That's weird. I don't know. I'd like never thought about that for some reason, but yeah, I mean, he's one of the old guard players, like a legendary LPL player. Maybe he was never quite as good as those other players, but still, he was a super stable, obviously huge part of the league, and he kind of stepped back in, and I think he looked really good. Kind of like what I was talking about yesterday. This Team WE team actually is kind of impressing me, and they do have a soft schedule coming up, as I alluded to yesterday, so they're going to be probably a decent underdog against some of these teams coming up, and I actually like them a good bit. I feel like Biu Xie looked really, really strong individually. Beishong looked really, really bad, but I think that was a little bit more of an anomaly. I don't think he's necessarily that bad of a player. I think he underperformed really hard yesterday. And I think Stay and Kadaya were kind of about what we expected. We don't expect a lot from them, and they kind of played to that level. So I think they actually have like a good bit of upside, at least when you're comparing them to the other bottom teams. So they're going to be a team I like going forward. Ultra Prime, it just kind of felt like they were just more stable. It came down again to a really close third game. Team WE definitely had their chances. I believe they lost the Dragon Soul. Nope, they Team WE just didn't claim the soul. That's what happened. And I don't know, they just kind of got outscaled a little. The Ezreal Karma, they did well in lane, and I feel like you do pick that for lane, but they never really got much going with it. And Beishong looked really, really bad on the Viego. He borderline solo lost him this game. So summarized the whole series pretty much. And that's why I feel like it's a little bit of an anomaly performance from him. But Ultra Prime kind of all performed kind of exactly what we expect. They're going to be relatively stable, and they got the job done. Again, it was super close, could have gone either way, so I'm pretty happy with this. And obviously the gigantic kill performance that we got from Team WE in games 1 and then somewhat in game 3. It would have been nice to get like a Xie and Kadaya assist bonus. That you kind of like those, but so WE was the side you needed to be on for DFS. So it's hard to. I'm not sure whether to count that as a win or not. Probably not. It seems a little disingenuous to do that, but overall they did well enough for DFS purposes. So we're glad with taking that. I was 100% on Team WE. They were the only underdog I liked in the night, and they came through at least enough. OMG Weibo. This is a weird series. Another one I'd like to talk about a lot more. They looked pretty good, pretty well in sync in game 1. I feel like this team's performance depends heavily on how well On is playing. That's why I wish SwordArt were still here. I just have to imagine that SwordArt, being that he was one of the best like supports in the world when he was on this Weibo team. I don't know. It's just hard to imagine that On brings more than SwordArt, but I mean, I guess we obviously just don't know what's happening internally. Maybe SwordArt's just not game ready. For whatever reason, they're sticking with On, which is fine. But it seems heavily dependent on whether like On can get these engages and stuff. The Shy we know is going to be up and down. SOFM was looking okay. I've been super impressed with Angel lately. He's been stepping it up a lot. Huanfeng was a little disappointing this game. He didn't really seem to do much, like across the board. I think maybe he picked it up a little in game 3, but this was just kind of like filling in. Like his role, he didn't necessarily pop off or look great. So I think that's what made this series a little close. Is Weibo just got a little over their heads. I don't know why they seem to always just lose these like second games like this. I just feel like they are kind of like a hot-headed team, kind of, and like they kind of get the ego the best of them after they get this game 1 win. They kind of throw it away in game 2, but they managed to like buckle up and win game 3. So that was pretty impressive. Top Esports EDG, again, I was super heavily on the EDG side. Again, we got kind of bailed out by a very large scoring game 2 EDG win. They had 25 kills in 22 minutes. Scout went crazy. Viper had okay numbers. Mako was okay. You kind of take all these numbers from everyone on EDG. I guess we didn't touch on OMG, but OMG looked pretty good. I think they kind of like performed a little bit better. I did say this series was going to be closer, maybe than the line indicated. So I was pretty happy with like kind of my read on this series as a whole. I thought OMG was kind of getting a bad rap just after their previous loss. I don't remember to who, but it was like a bad loss to like Thunder Talk or Ultra Prime or something, one of those two teams. And then game 3, Top Esports EDG. I think they got draft gapped pretty hard in game 1. I'm not sure where this like Karma Caitlyn is supposed to be strong. Same with this Olaf. I don't know. The Vex just like decimated them in like every aspect. Game 2, there was just like an early snowball that went completely awry. Scout just took over. I believe he was like 8-0-1 or something. He ended the game 15-0-8. Absolutely gigantic score there. What is that, like another 60 kill performance? So really, really large from Scout. And then the rest just kind of filled in. They did their job. Got the huge 25 kills in 23 minutes. Crazy stuff. But then Top Esports ended up taking the series in game 3. I mean, I think this is definitely like a kind of an anomaly. I don't know. Like, you guys are probably just tired of hearing me talk about how bad I think Top Esports is, but I think this third game was literally like the definition of like an anomaly win. Like, EDG were winning most of the time. I think they started a Baron, or Top Esports started a Baron like around this 26-27 minute mark, and like EDG just kind of got picked apart one by one, and then they just like got wiped in the team fight, and then Top Esports just ran down mid and ended the game. Like, it was like EDG were ahead the entire time until they weren't, and then they lost the game. Like, it was kind of crazy like that, and then it just kind of happened. It shocked me watching it, and I'd imagine a lot of other people felt the same. Um, I don't know. I felt like EDG were definitely in the driver's seat in Game 3. They were definitely looking really good. Viper had some sick Aphelios ult in the bottom lane after a dragon fight, so they looked like they were in prime condition to win the Game 3. So it was super disappointing that Top Esports got the win. I didn't have like any bets down. All I had was DFS lineups. I was pretty heavy on EDG. I mean, they kind of got there with the Game 2 performance. 15 kills from Scout. Viper got like 17 KP. So it was like still fine performance from EDG's DFS standpoint. But again, it was a disappointing result overall. So looking at the slate as a whole, we went 1 for 3 in the LPL, or 1 for 2. Yeah, 1 of 3. I don't know. You got the point. I got one series right last night, so we're on like a little bit of a cold streak. We got kind of bailed out with the DFS scores looking decent. Again, I did profit last night, but it wasn't great. It was pretty slimy, so we don't want to depend on that going forward. So we can try to fix that up a little bit. We actually do have some pretty interesting games coming up. So I think a really, really interesting one is this LNG V5 one. It's going to be it's hard pressed to say anything other than V5 is the favorite here. I think V5 are looking like the best team in the league, considering how up and down Weibo are. They just look more consistent. Rookie's looking like the MVP of the league so far, and they have a lot of support. I believe Fotik and PP God are filling in really well. Kars is doing his job. I would like to see a little bit more from Rich. I don't know why they just like continue to leave Rich off by himself, and it just feels like any top laner can kind of do what Rich is doing, but he's like, he can excel, he can do more. So I just feel like they're kind of not utilizing him right, but maybe that's just part of like the meta and how it's played at the moment. Again, I think this is super close. These are two very top teams in the league. We could see V5 8-1, LNG 7-2. We can look and see how LNG's been doing since the break. They lost to RNG, which isn't that bad. RNG haven't been looking good since then, but you know what happens. RNG's still a very skilled team. They went to 3 with AL, pretty close series, honestly. They got the third game over BLG, so it looks like LNG go 3 games. And we know the V5 memes. They're going 3 games most of the time also. I don't know. This one, again, is super tough. It's super close. I don't know why, but my initial lean when I look at this is to take the LNG side. I think V5 are the deserved favorites. They've definitely been better. Again, this is kind of a tough one where I talked about a couple days ago is the battle versus like heart and head. I don't know why, but my first instinct is to look at this and think LNG are maybe like a little slept on here. I just think maybe something like similarly to what we had yesterday with Weibo OMG, like all the steam and all the people talking up, like especially like casters and media stuff. Everyone's just pumping up like Weibo and V5. I mean, just because they do have really sick records, they are really good teams. I'm not arguing that. But my point is, I think they're just getting pumped up a little bit too much. And the point is, like, the LPL is still relatively random. I mean, obviously, like, a lot of favorites are winning and stuff, but like, there's still a lot of variance that can happen. A lot of unexpected things happen. The better team doesn't always win. You know, I still like V5 a lot. I just feel like this is maybe like this just seems like a good spot for LNG. I don't really know how else to like word it. Like, LNG did get like a super week here of playing against the top 2 teams in the league in Weibo and V5. they didn't get the job done against Weibo. But I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling here with LNG tonight. Again, I think this is probably like a very close game. Probably goes 3, probably a coin flippy series. And I just have to imagine V5 will be the favorite. So I'll take my like underdog here with LNG. Again, it's tough. I actually like both of these teams a lot. They're kind of both my like early season darlings, I guess. Especially V5 rode them pretty hard until people realized how good they were. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a tough one. I like it a lot, very close, but I don't know why. I just have this initial lean with LNG. I just feel like this is the time when like Tarzan and Doinby really put a stamp on this season and make it super interesting. And I don't know, like I do understand that V5 are probably the better team, probably the favorites. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just have the LNG lean where I feel like they'll pick up the third game, and I imagine it goes 3 either way. So that's my lean there. I'll take the underdog LNG. Again, just kind of a gut feeling there. I don't know why. When I saw this series, I just thought V5 are kind of getting inflated a little too much, and it's really close at the top there. So I'll just take the underdog LNG. BLG JDG. This one is super super interesting as well, because we've seen JTG slide down pretty heavily now. After their series against OMG, they went to 3 and lost to Top Esports. Again, I'm still not high on Top Esports, no matter their results. I just feel like they're continuously picking up these like weird wins. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I'm just a hater. Maybe it is what it is. Then they went to 3 and lost to IG. They went to 3 and barely beat AL. I think they arguably could have lost that third series or that third map against AL. I think we're getting an entirely different outlook if JDG lose to AL. This one's still tough. Like I feel like these teams are both kind of sliding down. Like BLG going to 3 with WE. They also lost in 3 to IG. They've actually did they play? Oh, I mean they've played. They both played IG and AL recently. Obviously we saw BLG dismantle AL, and then we saw AL have a super close series with JDG. I think that is like kind of a stylistic thing. So that's why this like record analysis of like, I guess they call it like MMA math. Like you can't just look and say, BLG stomped AL and then AL were in a close series with JDG. Therefore BLG is much better than JDG. I don't think it necessarily works like that. I feel like stylistic things matter a lot. That's why I feel like UFC is a decent, or the MMA overall is a decent comparison to League of Legends, because the saying in MMA is styles make fights, and that's the reason I liked AL against JDG, and it was a super close series because I felt like AL and JDG are both relatively brawly, aggressive teams. This one should be pretty interesting because JDG is an aggressive brawly team and BLG is kind of a slower macro based team. So it's like, which way do you lean? Like what matters more? I think overall this is going to be a close series. I'm going to be interested to see how the odds are in this series. I have yet to see odds on any of these games, so that's all going to be new to me. That's why we're doing the odds test here. I'd imagine BLG should be a favorite, maybe by a good bit. That seems a little. All right, this number feels right. BLG minus 220, JDG plus like 190 or something on the other side. Again, I just feel like we've seen JDG sliding down kind of heavily. They haven't really showed us much since the break. Not much to love. They are still beating up lower end teams. I think in the standings they're super close. Yeah, 6-3 to 5-4. I just think when you look at everything, you probably have to favor BLG a little bit. But again, this actually feels like a super super close series. Again, because it feels like it is like a styles make fights thing where we have JDG, a brawler. They'll just kind of throw haymakers, like whatever sticks. And then BLG are more tactical, more calculated, a little slower. So I feel like BLG will be able to kind of sit back, take their spots, and get advantages that way. But again, this is probably going to be one where I think it's pretty close, and then we'll just have to look at the odds and kind of see what's going on there. And then I think low key is another really fun matchup is TT FPX. Um, this one's tough because I mean you guys don't need to have me to like tell you this again, but I've rode TT all three of these series. They've lost in three in a heartbreaking fashion to RA and LGD. They got swept by TES. Then again, FPX have just been like a really, really big letdown as of late. They've got swept by EDG, which is normal, understandable. Again, losing to top, you don't love that. Barely getting the win over Ultra Prime. They lost in three to Weibo. That's not a big deal. I just feel like FPX have been sliding. I feel like the kind of cat's out of the bag with how they play. They are bringing in Klid back in for Beishuan. Again, I don't think Beishuan was the problem. I just feel like they have not been looking good with Klid. We can bring up the like how the win rates are for different junglers. So Beishuan is 7-5, Klid is 5-9. Again, they didn't necessarily look good in the last series with Beishuan either. I would have hoped they just kind of stuck with Beishuan. They're obviously not comfortable with it. They're going back to Klid. I mean, I just feel like they're kind of sliding down and they're not looking great. I don't know, call me crazy, but I'm actually kind of just gonna ride the Thunder Talk train. I know you guys are probably like tired of donating your money getting on Thunder Talk here. I think FPX are the favorite. They're probably like a good bit favorite. I'd imagine something like that. I do think FPX definitely the better team. Although they've been sliding, they're definitely significantly better. Thunder Talk have not really shown like much positively lately. I mean, they have been getting some series wins, but I feel like RA, LGD are really, really bad. And FPX are like, at least they did beat the bad teams here. And like Ultra Prime, they took a game off of Weibo. Definitely everything feels like it's on the FPX side, but I don't know. I just feel like they're sliding down so hard. And like, I feel like when the morale's down like that, I don't know, it's tough. It's the way I view this at least is FPX started off hot, so maybe that's one of the things where like FPX started off really well. They probably get it in their minds like they're going to be a playoff team. They could maybe compete, and they start losing games. They kind of get down on themselves. The pressure's there. Thunder Talk is 1-9. Like the kind of ship has sailed for Thunder Talk, so they're kind of just playing like freely. We see that a lot with AL, considering AL's like a perennially losing team. Like when the pressure's off and you can just kind of play and you're not afraid to make mistakes, it opens up a lot of possibilities. I do think definitely, again, FPX much better team, much better in like every aspect almost. I don't know. I just feel like FPX is sliding. Thunder Talker are like, we know they're really bad. I expect the odds to be pretty heavily in towards of FPX. I don't know. It's just like swapping out this jungler situation. It feels like it just seems like they're drowning and then they're just like grasping for air, but nothing's there. I don't know. And then TT just kind of live at the depths of the ocean. That's just where they are. So I don't know. I just think this is like low key kind of close, especially when you look at things in the grand scheme of the league. Like FPX is not that much. I mean, although, yeah, they are like Thunder Talk is 1-9. They're definitely really, really bad. It's hard to make a case for them really. But I just think the gap there is not that much, and it definitely wouldn't shock me to see Thunder Talk put up a fight here. So yeah, that's my pick there. I do like. We'll have to look at the odds here. So right off the bat, yeah, we see FPX really big favorite over TT. It makes sense. I'm kind of surprised that it's that much. Like at minus 800, you'd expect them to be like a lock. That definitely feels weird to me. I don't know how heavily I'll be in TT. I might have like one Thunder Talk lineup. And then probably just avoid FPX. Like, I don't know, maybe that'll kill me, but we'll look at team stats and player stats in a second. But again, I just don't know what's there really with FPX that makes them so sure to win this. Again, I feel like this is just a little bit closer. Like, I definitely think FPX is a big favorite, deservedly. I just think it's closer. Like, that's kind of it. Like we just saw FPX lose to RA. I don't think RA is good. TT definitely could have beaten RA. Like, I feel like these teams are definitely like close to being in like the same class. So it feels a little crazy to have that price up there. Um, I'll probably have like a small underdog sprinkle on TT, and then probably avoid the FPX side altogether. Um, Sliding down, we have BLG, JDG. They have it a little bit closer. I think that does make sense. I just feel like JDG have been sliding like more heavily, and I just think again it's like a stylistic thing where BLG will be able to kind of sit back, take their shots, and be do things a little bit more calculated. And I think BLG will be able to punish JDG in some of these. I think overall this is kind of like a like I don't know mismatch. I guess it is kind of like a mismatch here. Like I feel like BLG have them beat in a style matchup. Um, the one thing that does concern me in the BLG series is the kind of individual play we've seen from JDG. I feel like 369 has been looking really, really strong. Their bottom lane has been looking strong. Egal's been picking up. Like they've been looking good individually. But again, I just feel like this is a stylistic thing where BLG have a slow, methodical pick apart your opponent's style, and JDG will overextend, get themselves in trouble, and I think BLG can definitely take advantage of that. So I'll go with BLG on this. I think they're the deserved favorite. I think if anything, they should maybe be a little bit more of a favorite. I like them as a favorite pick a good bit. Then we head down to the third one, LNG V5. Seeing LNG as the slight favorite is definitely weird. I would have definitely assumed V5 would be the favorite by now. When I talked about this game like a few minutes ago, I thought I talked like V5 would be the favorite, and I like the underdog shot on LNG. So to see that LNG is the favorite here is super duper surprising. Yeah, LNG is just like the outright favorite here. That's super 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 weird. Man, I kind of don't know what to make of that, really. Like, I guess the books are still high on like the LNG side. You know, the Tarzan and Doinb factor definitely is understanding there. Um, I think I'm probably just gonna have to kind of change the way I'm viewing this. Like, it's gonna be tough because my initial lean was the LNG side. I kind of like them a little bit. It just kind of felt like it was their time to take a big series win. But again, the thing with V5 is they've played and beat a lot of the other elite teams. Who is the V5 lost to again? I forget it. They lost to Weibo, right? Yeah, they lost the 2-1 to Weibo. I don't know. Again, I think it does go 3. It's probably close. Both of these teams play a third game a lot for some reason, especially V5. They have I think the most games played in the league, I'd have to imagine. So yeah, I mean, I just think that's one where the odds that I make are much different from what I see on these sports books here. So I'll just have to kind of let that do the talking for me. Where, you know, I feel like V5 should probably be the favorite here. I'm not sure why they're not. I kind of get it. I do think it is close still, but I'll take the V5 underdog shot here. I'm just not sure why they are the underdog really. I feel like they've proven themselves to be a really really strong contending team. Rookie's probably the MVP so far. Photic, PP God, Karsa, they're all doing really well. I think this will be like a really strong battle between the top bottom 4 players of like the excluding top laners, I should say. I don't know, Tarzan, Karsa, probably edge Tarzan, but it's close. Doinb, Rookie, probably have to give it to Rookie at the moment, but although I think Doinb's the better overall player. Light and Lumao probably have to give the edge to the V5 bottom lane, Photic and PBR. I feel like they've been looking really strong. They look pretty comfortable on their, like, it seems like it's their pick at the moment is just going with the, like Senna, Tom Kench, I don't know, Senna, other stuff. They play the Tom Kench support really well. They're playing the Senna TK really well. They do have like the regular stuff to pull out as well. I'm liking their draft style. I'm liking their drafts, all that stuff. Again, I just think V5 should be the favorite, so I'm surprised they're not. So I'm gonna have to just go with them. So yeah, that'll be what I'm looking at for the LPL. I don't think I'm gonna mess with the LCK at all. I do think there is some merit to going to messing with these LCK games. We have seen Genji, Nongshim, and Live Sandbox all kind of press the issue. They've been pretty proactive. I don't think DRX has been. We can look at we can look at teams, look at how these things are breaking out. Again, probably just want to set it to February. That's post break and most recent information. That's how I like to look at it. Whoops. There we go. February 1st to, yeah, I guess this month, whatever. So we have it just set to February. We have DRX, Genji, Live Sandbox, and Nongshim in the LCK. And then over in the LPL, we have BLG, FPX, JDG, LNG, Thunder Talk. What was the other one? Oh, and V5. So that's our 6 teams. Looking at the combined kills per minute. So yeah, looks like Live Sandbox, Nongshim are up there. They're averaging like, what is that, a 0.73. Definitely going to blow out, get blown out here by all the LPL teams, but I think that's still close and respectable. Genji, DRX. Let's look at how DRX are doing in losses. Still not giving up a lot there, so just going to have to X out DRX, Genji there. Live Sandbox, Nongshim. Nongshim have been looking really bad, but I think they've been messing around with lineups and stuff. I don't know who they're going to put back at support. I don't know if they've made like a statement on that. Maybe I could look that up real quick. Let's see. LCK Nongshim. LNS Red Force. Let's see. Have they made like a statement or anything? Not that I can see. So I don't know. Did they play with their full roster in the last game? That doesn't ring a bell. Let's see, Korea. Sorry, probably should know this, but with all the COVID roster swap, who knows what's happening like at all at the moment. So it was Kana, Dread, BDD, Ghost, and Peter. So it looks like it's kind of the full Nongshim roster back at it. I think it's been a while, it feels like, since we've had that full Nongshim effect. As you guys probably remember early on this year, I did like the Nongshim guys when they did have the full roster. So yeah, I feel like Nongshim is definitely viable, definitely, especially how heavily they play through top lane. I don't think getting a Kana one-offs are gonna be terrible at all. I think that game is definitely live in the LCK side. Then JDG, LNG, BLG. So as we see, like, yeah, JDG's playing at a crazy pace. LNG and V5 are playing at a really, really high pace as well. It looks like FPX and Thunder Talk are playing at a low pace. Low-ish pace. I mean, they're definitely still fine. They're definitely still playable. The thing is, with me, I made 4 lineups yesterday. I made like 3 today before. I'm trying to cull down the amount of lineups I play. I just want to get more like one lineup and then put it in like single entry stuff as opposed to multiple lineups in the big stuff. It just feels like the ROI is just much worse when you're doing like the big stuff. So I want to try to narrow it down at least for a little bit myself, but we can still look at things as a whole. Again, I think you're going to want to be a part of this JDG BLG series. I think JDG are just super, super, super active at the moment. They seem to be like one of the most aggro teams, so they're going to induce a lot of fantasy points. LNG V5, that they have really good numbers, but it still does worry me a little bit when you do have these elite teams going. I'll probably still be a part of it. I definitely like the V5 side a lot. I'm still confused a little bit as to why they're underdogs. So that's a little concerning, if I'm honest. Then we have V5 TT towards the bottom. Again, still some decent scores. I still might take an underdog shot on the TT side in like one of those big tournaments. Just because I'd imagine at plus what are they, plus 475, they're going to be like under 10%, maybe even under 5% on some of their players. So I might have like a lineup with underdog, Thunder Talk. But I think for the most part, I'm going to stick to BLG and V5. Maybe mess with some Nong Shim. I'm not sure. Looking at the players from those teams, I'll include the Nong Shim side. NS, we had V5. We'll put in Thunder Talk. And then what was the other one? BLG. So we'll look and see again, real sort by participation. Looks like Fofo, Weiwei, Doggo, and are up there as a trio. Looks like the same is there for Photic, Karsa, and Rookie. So that's weird that again it's a jungle mid AD for BLG and V5. On the Nongshim side, Peter seems to be standing out. Dread, Kana is doing well. Again, super messy with all the like subs there. So we'll look at position by position. Looks like Kana is up there. Breathe is up there. So those are probably the two usable top laners. Looks like New and Rich are much further down. Probably want to avoid those. So for top lane, it's going to be Kana and Breathe. For jungle, looks like there's a gap between everybody and Dread. I still think Dread is usable. These numbers aren't that bad. They're definitely like within the margin of variance, especially with low kill shares. It looks like Dread's definitely not afraid to take some kills, so that helps his points a little bit there as well. So I feel like every jungler is definitely viable with your stacking or like however your lineups break down. For mid lane, I think Fofo and Rookie are probably gonna stand out the most. Ucal's looking decent. He has a really high kill share as well. So I think if you are playing Thunder Talk like I am, crazy person, Ucal's looking fine. BDD's number is really bad. Sub 60% as a mid laner. You really just probably want to try to avoid that. So BDD would probably be the only mid laner I'll probably not get to. AD, we have Photic and Doggo, both above 70%. Puff a little bit lower. Ghost very far down. So it's not looking good for Ghost at the AD position. Again, I mean, they have been doing a lot of losing, so it does make sense. Again, but still, sub 60 on the AD, especially when you have other options like Photic, Doggo, maybe you want to get to Puff. I think those are probably the three. I definitely don't want to get to Ghost, don't want to get to BDD. That's not looking good for the Nongshim carries. Down to support, Peter is looking good, really good 70% kill participation. Crisp, Southwind, PP God, they're all about the same. I mean, 10% separating first to fourth isn't a big deal. I think this is just kind of whoever's going with your stack. I do think, again, this is what I said a few days ago, is trying to get a support that sweeps matters a lot. Feels like supports are getting really shafted with scoring. It's pretty much for support, you just kind of hope that they get the 10 assists bonus, and then maybe they'll get the sweep and they put up like a 60. I think that's kind of what you're aiming for from support at the moment. So when you're looking at that stuff, I feel like Peter definitely makes sense. They are pretty heavily favored. Yeah, I would say Peter's probably like the ideal support here. I don't know how much he's going. Yeah, he is like super expensive. That is a tough price to pay there. But I think it's possible when you have other options. But Crisp, Southwind, PP God, they all seem fine. I don't know if I'd want to get to Southwind. It feels like if Thunder Talk get there and it's a super bloody back and forth game, Southwind is going to put up a lot of deaths. Those typically don't spell out that greatly for the support. But who knows? Maybe they just get so many kills and he's a part of it. It's definitely possible. Yeah, so support's just kind of a wash. If you can get to Peter, I like Peter, but everything else is just kind of whatever goes with your stack. They all seem relatively the same. So yeah, everything's looking good for those. So we got the teams that we like, we got the players that we like. So we have an idea of what to do and how I'm gonna build at least. I do need to hurry up and wrap this up so I can actually get my entries in. So otherwise, all the tournaments will be filled up. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me. We'll go quickly game by game. FPX Thunder Talk. Again, I think this is just a lot closer than it looks. I'll have an underdog Thunder Talk lineup. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I just think this is closer than it looks. I'll have a long shot underdog TT lineup, but I probably won't be heavily invested in it at all. DRX Genji, probably just to stay away from me. DRX's overall action is just way too low. Although Genji can push a pace, and they do have good players, especially in like how much like how many points Chovy can accrue, I guess what I was trying to say. I don't think they're bad necessarily. I just don't want to get there when there's other options. BLG, JDG, I'm going to be on the BLG side pretty heavily. They seem to be like relatively fairly priced. I like them a good bit. I think that's going to be a really important series for scoring, and I think the BLG side is the side that I'm going to lean on. LSB Nongshim. Again, I think Nongshim has a pretty fairly safe. I just think Live Sandbox, I think, still have COVID stuff going on. That's why the price is so heavy, I believe. So things aren't looking, and just the Sandbox play at a pretty strong pace. This is just not a team I want to be on, and I do like Nongshim a good bit. I think they're a little underrated overall. So I like Nongshim a good bit. I like them probably as a good bit. I think they're definitely going to be in the mix for me. V5 LNG. Again, this one is super confusing. I'm honestly just confused as to why LNG is the favorite. I feel like V5 have deserved some respect here. Feels like they're still not getting that respect. I feel like LNG has been sliding down. They haven't been looking great. So, and V5 have been. Again, there is like a worry there with some variants, and like V5 been winning. So I don't know. It's just two really good teams. Again, really close. I just feel like V5 should be on the slight favorite side, and it's not them. So I'll be on the V5 side. Again, this one's tough. My gut just tells me towards the LNG side. I'm not sure why. But I'm just going to have to listen to my brain on this one. Go with V5. I feel like they're kind of being a little disrespected here. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today, talking about these games. Again, sorry for being late. I'm sure it's annoying for you guys to try to get this information and process it so quickly in such a short amount of time. I'll try my best to kind of continue to work on that. So that'll be it for me tonight. Best luck to you guys. Hopefully we can kind of turn it around. Although we did profit yesterday, it wasn't in a clean way. I'm sure people aren't loving when you kind of get bailed out that way. So we'll try to turn it around. I think this is going to be a decent slate. I'm looking forward to these games, and let's make some money. Good luck, guys.